Hello. Hey, everybody. How's it going? We're going to get started here. Thank you all for coming to our wonderful event today, My Earth, My Story. We're going to have six wonderful presenters and myself sharing various art pieces, musical pieces, all about our relationship with the earth, our responsibility to it. We're also going to have an opportunity here from our presenters before they present for about a minute about their worldview on the earth and their responsibility to it. So we appreciate everybody coming, and everybody. Hopefully, we have some people on the live stream as well. Appreciate you all. We will start with a presentation from myself, followed by Miriam Hernandez. And she will share her piece, More Space, More Waste. So I guess to introduce myself, I'm Caden Deering. I'm originally from the Ogden area. I grew up there the entirety of my life. Been up here. I'm a senior. I'm graduating finally. Woohoo! Thank you. My relationship with the earth is very, I would say romantic. I spent many summers up in Wyoming guiding backpacking trips to Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Park, and loved it. Spent several great summers living in a tent, in an old Korean War tent out in the woods. And I have learned a lot of things recently about what we're doing to the planet, and I don't think I've ever been sadder about our situation, and so. But I think there's a lot of reason for hope as well, and I plan on taking part in everything that I can to further the dream of our planet. And I wrote a poem, but kind of to introduce my poem, I have a quote from John Muir, who was a great outdoorsman, about hiking. I'll share that first. Hiking, I don't like either the word or the thing. People ought to saunter in the mountains, not hike. Do you know the origin of the word saunter? It's a beautiful word. Way back in the Middle Ages, people used to go on pilgrimages to the Holy Land. And when people in the villages through which they passed asked where they were going, they would reply, a la Santa Terra, to the Holy Land. And so they became known as the Santeterers, or the Saunterers. Now these mountains are our Holy Land, and we ought to saunter through them reverently, not hike through them. The poem I would like to share with you today is entitled One. Mama, Dada, these are the first words we speak, identifying the people who care for us. I remember colorful books about things, plants, animals, clothes, the church steeple, cars, jobs, foods, places, all sorts of people. My parents, my siblings, my families, my friends, my teachers, my enemies. Categories. Happiness and sadness, good and bad, right and wrong, important and useless. I learned to tell the difference. I thought growing up meant honing this craft, getting better at distinctions, better trained in observations. I would sit with friends, analyze all the trends of the people around me, trying to make meaning. Oh, she must like me because the way that she acted or the way that she spoke, I thought myself woke to the meanings around me. But then one day I was wrong. And I thought how I'd been wrong before, countless misinterpretations, misplaced assumptions, but unwarranted confidence in clear categories I so easily used. If only I'd noticed that not only was I wrong, but I'd categorized myself into a corner, separated. Right behavior, wrong behavior, good people, bad people, happiness and suffering, me and everything else. Yet what is me? Am I the righteous son who makes his parents proud? Or the fallen Buddhist who stopped preaching so loud? Am I an eternal being with great destiny awaiting? Or a collection of atoms due for a breaking? What if instead of categories, I'm something between? What if to start, I look at my parts and I see what they mean? A part of my dad, a part of my mom. Is that me? Not hardly. A part of me came from the kids who made fun of my coat in school. A part of me from the time I convinced my brother the basement had some kind of ghoul. A part of me the first time I said, I love you, and had it returned. Apart from every triumph and success and every heartbreak and duress. Millions of things make myself me. People, places, foods, jobs, cars, the church steeple, clothes, animals, plants. The world is in me. So these categories, world and me, are not so clean. These distinctions are not so keen. My happiness is connected to things, people, safety, peace, and corporate kings. The health of the land, the birds, the trees, all of us are dependent on these. We are connected, you and I. The earth runs through us. Destroy species or glaciers. The earth runs through us all. Destroy species or glaciers, and we'll surely fall. The world is not a place to exploit or conquer, but a place to learn, to breathe, and to saunter. Because everything is us, and we are it all. A piece of a whole that we cannot let fall. But if we consume endlessly, mistreat animals, and conquer relentlessly, there will be nothing left. We harm not just the world, but ourselves. I know what to do, I think. My earth, my story. And what about you? Our earth, our story. Thank you. Up next, we'll have Miriam Hernandez, and her piece, More Space, More Waste.
I'm not sure how I can follow up after that. That was really good. I'll grab it after. So my piece, actually, let me answer the question. My relationship with the earth has been kind of complicated. I grew up in an immigrant household, so I had a lot of other things to worry about besides recycling and making sure that my carbon footprint wasn't as big as it is. But recently I've realized how much waste I'm creating, how much pollution I'm making, and it's made me really sad. It really has. So yeah, it's been really complicated trying to find little ways to do it, because sometimes I take on too much and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna change the whole freaking world. And then when I don't, I'm like, well, I failed. I feel like a lot of us have been in that mindset where we're like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be that person that does it. But I think the professor at one point said that it's just like little things that we do every day. We can't be that one person that changes the whole world. It's like a compilation of all the things we do together. So that's why I feel like it's complicated, because I want to change the whole world, but you got to do it one step at a time, baby steps. I'm going to grab my piece. So just looking at it, it looks like trash, but let me explain. So this is called More Space, More Waste. It's based off of the population and area of Utah and the population and area of South Korea, Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea. Currently, we have about, let me pull up my stats real quick. We have about 3.2 million people in Utah, and Seoul, South Korea has about 9.8 million. However, the area of Utah is 84,899 miles squared, and the area of Seoul, South Korea is only 233.7 miles squared. So you would think that with an area 363 times larger, we would be able to create less waste. But averaged out, Utah people create 4.2 pounds of waste per day, and Seoul, South Korea people create about 4.2? Yeah, 4.2 pounds of waste in Utah, and Seoul, South Korea creates 2.1, so about half, and yet we have 3 times less the population than they do. So it really got me wondering as to where we went wrong. Back in 1986, Seoul, South Korea initiated a waste management law that replaced 2 laws that they had in place, and it pretty much was charging people for incorrectly distribution of their waste. So if you put if they caught you putting recyclables in the trash, you would get fined. If you got caught putting glass where the plastic should go, you would get fined. They have certain bags that they use too for different kinds of waste, such as food waste or plastic or glass. And you have to buy these. I think they're a couple cents when you convert it to our currency. However, they've made it such a law that the people feel as though it's their responsibility to reduce their carbon footprint and help their city. And for us, I feel as though sometimes I would just throw things away and think, oh, the landfill people will take care of it. Oh, they'll take care of it. It's not my job. That's not me. That's on them. So I think it's really interesting. And with my piece, at the top left, you'll see that the trash is more disorganized and cataclysmic and more messy. And at the bottom right, it's more organized, the plastic is on the bottom, and then the cardboard is on one section, and the aluminum is on another section. So the top left represents Utah, and the bottom right represents Seoul, Korea. And you can see how, once you see it, you can see that it's kind of a mess on our side. And I really think that it's up to us to fix this mess. It's not really anyone's job at the time. Right now, the people that work in the landfill, all their job is to move it from your trash can to the landfill, maybe incinerate it, depending on the percentage of that. But other than that, it's really no one's job right now to organize your waste besides you. So that's what this piece is to represent that whole mess on our side. It's our job to fix it. It's no one else's. Thank you.
Thanks, Miriam. Next, we're going to have Gianna Patchett, and she has a musical number, I think, on the piano, entitled Morning Dove, and she's going to talk to us a little bit, too. So, Gianna.
Hello. So, for me to kind of answer the question, the earth is full of memories. There's all these moments in time that are preserved and frozen but relived through the experiences we have, through the smells and the sights and the feelings that we experience on our earth. One of the strongest of these for me is my childhood. Every Thanksgiving, we'd visit my grandparents in Arizona. And there were so many senses in the earth. My grandparents had orange trees, and so the smell of the citrus, the heat of a desert wind, even in November. I remember the sounds of the cicadas and the way the sunset looked against the red dirt. But probably the strongest and most evocative memory for me is the song of the mourning dove. It's super simple. You'll hear it at the beginning of my piece. Just a really short and really beautiful bird song. And I would hear it every morning as I woke up at my grandparents' house. And so I started this project with the idea of composing a piano solo. I'm a music major. I'm actually a cellist, but you're getting piano today. And I wanted to base it off of this song. And as I went about the composition process, I was trying to figure out where I was going to go with it. And every time I sat down at the piano, something different came out. I mean, it had a lot of the same pieces, a lot of the same moments, but it was unique. And as I tried to write down what I was doing, it occurred to me that that kind of missed the mark, because nature isn't frozen in time. Nature is ever-changing. And the moments that we experience, they're singular. We might experience something similar again, but never the exact same. And so what you're going to hear is a version of Mourning Dove, the only time it will ever be heard in this exact way. And I hope that maybe it will inspire you to think more deeply about the moments we have and how truly wonderful and unique they are.
That was gorgeous. Thank you, Gianna. Next, we'll hear from Maya McKinnon and her project 800,000 Today. Hold it this way or
Yeah, that way.
this
I
way?
like, yeah.
Vertical.
Thank you. Okay, so my answer to the initial question is a little bit different, but after listening to everyone else's, I've kind of come to realize that my relationship with the natural world has been very influenced by those around me. People that are close to me, obviously my family and my close family friends, but also my peers and people I've been at school with. So I've come to realize that there's often a separation between humans and the natural world. We create an idea that humans are doing something to the planet, but I think I view everything as a whole. Humans and the natural world are one. So our responsibility to the planet is our responsibility to ourselves. So if our environment and our natural resources are suffering, we are suffering as well. It is our responsibility to uphold a healthy and livable planet. So for my piece, I wanted to create something that touches on the enormity of consumerism. So my title briefly explains that about 800,000 cows are butchered in the U.S. each day. So I believe it is extremely important for us to start understanding the scale and impact of our industries and our consumption. So the main idea of my piece is to start with a connection on a small scale so that the larger scale is easier to understand. While the main messaging isn't clear immediately, the subject matter is easy to connect with. And so hopefully the larger issue behind what I'm trying to portray is more understandable and eventually strikes the need within ourselves for the change that has to happen. So yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, Maya. Now we're going to have a short animation by Allie Blackham. She's going to come up and talk for a second and introduce it.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Allie Blackham from West Jordan. I'm an art major. I think a lot of you guys are with the art pieces. I made this animation last year about the same time after I took the Anthropocene class with Rob Davies. And it was around the time that COVID was hitting, and a lot of the issues that I was seeing was not actually issues where things were clearing up. You could see the Himalayan mountains from 150 feet away, or 150 miles away, with the smog is all gone. And the rivers in like Venice are clear and all these things. So that's my piece is kind of about that and the waste. I have a little note. For the question, as I see it, the natural world has a balance. Everything in moderation creates a pleasant coexistence. And so, if that balance is interrupted, it affects the whole system, not just the part directly opposed. Human beings have, in the past, lived within this balance, contributing to the cycle of the earth. Now, though, I believe we've disrupted that balance, that cycle, by using our resources inefficiently and not addressing the large amounts of waste we create while doing so. My piece is about this waste, exploring the many forms it comes in and the effects even small but widespread change can make to this delicate balance. Thanks.
It's even better the second time. Thanks, Allie. Next, we're going to have a presentation by Bailey entitled Innocence and Guilt. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bailey. Thanks. So I'm a photo major, and I wanted to make my project photo-based just because I felt like that was the best way I could communicate. So after thinking about my relationship with the Earth, I came to the conclusion that it's been very dynamic. It has changed so much, especially over the past semester. I spent a lot of my life in Oklahoma, and I thought it was the ugliest place in the world. And I always wanted to come back to Utah just because I thought, it's such a beautiful place to live in. And, after the semester learning about a lot of specific details about how we are affecting our planet, and in Utah specifically, I just think about how, I want to keep this place just as beautiful as it's always been, and kind of cherish that beauty. And so in my series, I touched on the very emotional aspects of what I've learned over this semester, and portrayed that through 4 images. So I'll kind of just share a little bit about that. So my project was motivated by these emotional feelings that I've had. I created 4 photographs that tell the story of 2 things: the destruction of the innocence of our planet and the guilt that follows our actions. In each image, there is a white, in this case, once innocent object representing an aspect of our climate's current issues, including extinction, waste, and consumerism. The human presence is represented on each object by a handprint placed with blood, symbolizing the years of ruination that have occurred. The bloody handprint also represents the continuous guilt that we feel for what has occurred and for what we feel now because of it. In the last image with the white rose, the fire illustrates the rebirth the Earth needs to go through, otherwise ending in destruction. Throughout this project, I have learned that the emotional load can be a lot to take in, but it motivates us to start making small changes, which can lead to mass changes. So I'll just kind of show, hopefully. So this is the first image. It's just an animal skull, kind of represents the extinction. And hopefully you guys can see that. And then the next one is a representation of waste with the plastic bag. And then in the next one, it's an item of clothing kind of representing the extreme consumerism that we are kind of exponentially making worse. And then here's the last image, and I touched on how the rose represents the growth, the earth, something once alive. And since it's stained with the blood of humans and what we have done, the fire represents rebirth and kind of starting over and creating a better place to live in. And so it's a little morbid, kind of creepy, but I just really wanted to touch on those 2 aspects because it's something that I have really thought about over this process. So thank you.
Thank you, Bailey. Lastly, we're going to have Nathan and Nikki, who the 3 of us kind of helped plan this whole thing. They have a musical number that they're going to share with us and introduce as well. So, yeah.
I was just thinking I should have kept my jacket on. It's cold. Thank you all for being here and bracing the cold with us. Thank you so much. I'm Nikki Jameson Moore, and Nathan, I've been doing that all week. It's the three of us working together. Nathan and I will be performing a cello-viola duet. And before I talk about that, I'd like to share a little bit about my perspective on the natural world. I am a religious person. I believe in God, and I believe that He created this earth, and that really motivates my perspective on the earth. I believe that I have a duty to take care of this earth that I believe is a gift, and I believe that when I take care of the earth, as has been said by some others, that when I'm taking care of the earth, I'm helping to take care of those that I share it with, who I believe are my brothers and sisters. And so this piece that we're playing is called Our Story, and it reflects personally my perspective that this earth isn't just mine, that it belongs to all of us. And in this duet, you will hear some sounds that have drawn inspiration from different world cultures' music. And this goes to show that, again, this world belongs to all of us, and that we need to work together in order to make this planet last and to respect this gift that we've been given. And at the beginning of this piece, it kind of represents the creation of the world that I believe in. And then it will go through the different world music sounds. And then at the end, you will hear a kind of surprising ending that simply represents an unfinished story, and that it's our responsibility to write the ending. And now I'll let Caden talk a little bit. Nathan.
Thanks, Nikki. I'll just add a little bit about my perspective on the earth. I think, generally, our responsibility to the earth is to be good environmental stewards. This is kind of a perspective I've come to through spending a lot of time backpacking and climbing and doing a lot of outdoor things. And I find that when I'm outside in the backcountry, it's really easy to be really conscious of my waste and picking up after myself and making sure that even the smallest pieces of trash don't remain in the mountains. But then when I come back to the city, it's so normal for me to see a milk jug bouncing down the middle of the street or plastic bags plastered to fences. And I think if we just become more aware of what we're doing to the earth, and we become good environmental stewards, not only in the backcountry and in the mountains, but in our daily lives, taking care of our environment and our world, then we'll be in a much better place.
I just wanted to quickly add, this duet was written by my husband, Ethan Moore.
Thanks, guys. We wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight. Also, a special thanks to the Kane College of the Arts and the Interfaith Student Association for providing funding for tonight, and for everybody who took the opportunity to present their work. We really appreciate your contributions. We hope that everyone who came, you're able to glean some kind of inspiration or good feeling tonight. So, thank you all again.
Just one more thing. All these works that you saw today and more will be available on a website soon. Dr. Davies, do you have a link for that available?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, but soon there will be a link available for these. Exhibitwith2bs.com.
And also a huge thank you to Dr. Davies. We would not have had this event tonight without his incredible class and all that he has taught us this semester. So thank you, Dr. Davies, as well. Thank you all so much for coming.